Arjun, what's going on,
What's
man?
going on, man? I'm glad we pulled this off.
I can't believe we did it. From West Coast to here. Oh, man, I'm so grateful. I'm appreciated, man.
Anytime, brother. Anything for you, man.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Welcome to Let's Talk About It. For those, catch us on your favorite streaming platform. We're all over. Just type in Let's Talk About It by Jimmy Mortgage, and I'm going to pop up, man. I'm going to jump right into it because I know your time is limited. Arjun, what do you see going on with the housing market? You're an econ nerd.
Yeah. You know, I mean, there's a lot of misinformation.
Right.
And the media sells a lot of doom and gloom. And we also have a lot of extra noise.
Right.
You know, but it all affects housing.
Right.
You know, because at the end of the day, housing's close to 20%. Some would argue maybe a little more, a little less in terms of the overall U.S. economy.
Right.
And everything that's affected or touched by it. So it's a big, big piece of the puzzle, which means most of the macro news is probably going to be tied back to it, right? Whether it's tariffs,
right,
or what's happening in this department, or, you know, more directly, like the abolishing of the CFPB, right? Like,
right.
Things are just changing fast, and some of it's having an impact, some of it's just noise.
Right.
We just all have to stay calm and remember that there is still a huge imbalance of supply and demand.
Right.
There's still roughly 4 to 4.5 million buyers with their hand in the air saying, I want a home now,
right,
and there's no home for them. And unless something magically changes with permitting and zoning laws in a lot of these markets and new homes can just be brought to the market, we're still going to have an imbalance, which means if you own a home, right, you got a great asset that's going to continue to appreciate and do well. You have something that
You're
is
doing really well.
Rare. Yes. If you got in, congratulations. If you didn't get in and you've been trying, keep trying.
Right.
It's difficult. It's challenging. It can be frustrating. I get it. And in some markets, it's like it's even unfathomable. It doesn't make sense. Like in San Francisco, some of these price points have gotten to the point we are now where people are just questioning, like, am I even doing the right thing? But
can you afford it at this point?
Totally right. But at the end of the day, the market is very strong.
Right.
People correlate higher rates with a bad market, and they think that lower rates mean it's a good market.
Right,
it's
right.
actually the opposite.
It's absolutely right. That's what I was about to say.
There was nothing healthy about the low rate COVID market we had. There was nothing healthy about it. It was crazy.
Right, right. We inflated actually because of the whole process, right? We were printing more dollars, right?
That's right.
And so things became cheap, and folks were like, you know, like you play poker, right? Putting all their chips in. They was like, look, I'm gonna dive in and make money out of it. And
That's
this
right.
is what it is today, man.
That's it.
So especially in, I know you're Northern California, but San Jose has seen a huge spike in home appreciation.
They have, yeah. The South Bay. I mean,
Right.
all of the Bay Area, because, I mean, you've got like the tech hub right now of the world, and there's, some would argue, even a biotech hub, right? There's so much research and development going on with a lot of these biotech companies and startups. There's so much capital in the area, and it's not just, it used to be isolated to, you know, a certain part of San Francisco, but it's really bled out. You know, you go further south, so San Jose has been the beneficiary of a lot of this.
Okay. So it's interesting, right? Because in New Jersey, New York, we have high taxes, right? You get a $1 million house in San Francisco, you're paying what, maybe $9,000 to $10,000 in taxes, if that. I don't know.
It's about 1.25%.
1.25%.
Yeah.
Over here, you get $1 million house, you're looking at, it's north over $15,000 a year in taxes. So some of the things, the home appreciation, you're getting a little bit more in San Francisco because the tax levy is a little lower, as opposed on the East Coast where the tax is a little high, but you're still paying a little bit more for the house. So it's a lot of intricates happening. Previously you talked about what was going on in San Francisco, how some of the changes have been made by the mayor today, removing some of the homelessness, answering some of those questions, and gentrifying that area to become what it needs to be today, right? And what are some of the things that he has implemented that you feel comfortable what's going on in San Francisco?
You know, I mean, it's been a journey, and I've taken a lot of heat on this. You know,
I'm sure you are,
I've
right?
shared some of this with you offline, you know, in private conversations. I've had, because I'm not a guy who has his head in the sand.
Right.
And a lot of people in our market did. Right. You know, or they would function this way, you know, and actually communicate this way. Like everything's fine, everyone's fine, whether you want to call it gaslighting or you want to call it BSing or you want to call it just being naive, whatever it is, this is what was going on.
Right.
And you know, for years, I was pointing out, because homelessness and drugs and some of the more unsavory things that were happening in San Francisco were leading well before the pandemic.
Right.
They were happening.
Right.
It was a systemic thing. And some people were like, this could get out of control. Like, you know, it's good to have empathy.
Right.
It's good to care. But you can't keep giving hugs, with no strings attached.
That is
like, at some point, there needs to be some kind of accountability or a plan to help people.
Right.
Get out of the situation, not just keep enabling it. Enabling is probably a better word. So this was going on. I started paying more attention to it, and then leading up to the pandemic, it hit like obviously a very.
You were driving by.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You was just showing it what is.
Well, I'll never
happening.
forget this because I got to my office one day during the pandemic. I still went in, and I went in every day. It's a big, beautiful co-working space, and they'd made it open, but it was only me going in and one other guy.
Right.
Out of a space of what normally occupied like 200 people. So it was just a weird time. But I'd park on the street because my parking garage was permanently closed, and you step over homeless people all the time. But I'll never forget this. I stepped over this one guy as I got out of the car. He was right by the parking meter that you needed to pay. And, okay, another guy passed out from, you kind of get used to seeing it, desensitized, which is a sad thing, but you just kind of like live in harmony with it. You move around it.
Right.
I came out, he was still in the same position. So I was like, man, this guy's really passed out when I left. Right. When I got there, I parked pretty close to the same spot the next day. He was still there in the same spot. I said, this guy's not passed out.
Right.
This guy's passed away. So that's what we were dealing with. Like literally dead bodies just sitting on the streets. People are like, no, that's exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating anything. Like I stepped over and this happened. And it was really tough. So I started taking to social media and talking about this. Yeah. I started saying, hey, if we don't address this as a city, this is going to hurt commercial properties, which it did. Right. Which will then in turn cause people to leave downtown, which it did, which is going to hurt real estate or a certain segment of it, the condo market, which it did. Right. My account got shut down. Like I got reported for violating community standards. People thought it was too harsh.
Community standard.
Yeah.
Wow. Keeping it real now. It's community standards, really.
Well, I mean, whether people, say, is that really free speech, or maybe you said something you shouldn't have said, or I didn't call out a politician's name. I didn't use any curse words, but I did this. But I felt a heightened sense of responsibility to keep it real. Right. Because I saw other people in my space and industry saying everything's fine, the city's fine, it's going to come back great, and it will. Right. So this new mayor's come in, and he's been very quick to do things. He's shut off a lot of like basically open-ended checks. He's like, we're not going to spend any more, expand anything until we get some accountability in place for a lot of these departments. Because in many departments in San Francisco, I joke about it, but it's kind of true. You'll have 10 secretaries answering the phone.
On top of layers on top of layers.
There's 10 secretaries at the front. There only needs to be one, right? They're all being paid a pretty good salary. They probably make more money than I do these days. So, there's a lot of waste and just not like responsible spending and management of government. Right. But he's done a lot of great things very quickly. And I think as someone coming in with a tough job to a tough market, it's like a rebuild, right? Like a winless team in football, they bring in a new coach. This guy's got to get some wins to get the faith and the confidence of the fan base, and make people believe he can do it. This guy's been doing that, and I feel Mayor Lurie's moving things in the right direction. He's a little more soft-spoken. He's got a nice disposition about him. Some people were a little weary whether or not he's like tough enough and strong enough to make some of these tough decisions.
He's working behind the scenes and making it work, right?
He is, yeah. He's got a great team around him, and we're seeing streets starting to be cleaned up. We're seeing areas getting better. So they're making movements. Okay. And he's not claiming victory on anything. He says, and I like this. He's being very measured. Right? We got a lot more work to do.
About it, right?
Yeah, and we do have a lot of work to do. He's not celebrating, early or anything. So I'm hopeful, and I know a lot of the real estate community there is too. We've seen a lot of AI companies come in and take over a lot of the old office space that's been abandoned because the dynamic has shifted. That's good. So and the previous mayor, played a big role in securing a lot of that investment too. Okay. He's just now taking it and throwing gas on the fire, cleaning things up, controlling spending within the local government, and we're all optimistic.
I see New Jersey's also doing the same thing as well as New York. Recently, New Jersey got Netflix over here now. They're in Monmouth County. So that's big. So the movie industry, you're going to see a lot of entrepreneurs, you're going to see private equity guys, you're going to see actors moving further central south of New Jersey now. So things are happening. So Arjun, we see the market shifting. What can you tell loan officers? Because people love and just admire some of the education you put out there when it comes to lending, and what does it look like to them? We're in a digital space now. I learned a lot from you from LFG. Let's effing go. I love this guy. I appreciate it. Tell the world, tell the community, what can we do as loan officers to empower our clients and grow revenue shares for our business?
Well, I think, it comes down to three things, and you touched on one of them, which is, a way that you and I are connected. So it's everybody needs to evolve. Everybody needs to be part of community. Right. And everybody needs visibility. Those three things. Okay. Community, visibility, and evolve. And here's what I mean by all three. And I think every loan officer, every lender out there needs to really pay close attention to this and take this to heart. If there's nothing else from my talk that you get today. Right. Okay, number one, I want everybody to evolve into a mortgage advisor. I want you to scrap the term loan officer. Loan officer doesn't get the respect that it used to as a title. In my market, it's synonymous with loan servant, or the guy who's going to split my Zillow leads, or the guy who's going to come show up at my house with donuts and a rate sheet, you know, on demand, away from his family, and say, hey, can you be here at this open house? Not, how you doing? How are you? I value your expertise, or the fact that you can talk to almost anyone. It would be a really nice add value if you could come be at my open house. No, can you bring donuts and show up as if they're doing me a favor, right? Like, so I don't want anyone to now put themselves in that box. We are the unsung hero of every transaction. I mean, things start and end with us. We have the impossible job of making 1 + 1 = 3.
Right.
Right? It's hard work. So we need to start acting like it and carrying ourselves that way. So I want everyone to evolve and scrap the term loan officer and start thinking of yourself as a mortgage advisor, because a mortgage advisor, the word advisor, is heard, is respected. When you call your clients, they listen. They don't argue with you. They don't say, my dad was telling me this, or my neighbor said that you're wrong about that, or I read this. No, they want to listen. Like when your financial advisor calls you, Jimmy, you listen.
I listen, yeah.
You say, hey, like, Joe, tell me what's up. Like, you talk to me, man.
Exactly.
I'm not telling you.
No, I'm listening. I'm taking notes and making sure the advice that you're giving me makes sense, and I go on with,
and then you execute.
Yeah,
and then you execute. The other thing that's big for lenders and advisors, mortgage advisors, is you need community. You got to be around something. You got to be part of something. You got to be following great podcasts like this great value add show. And I commend you, brother, for doing this. Because it helps all of us out, right? We all got to stick together. So things like this, being part of masterminds, good culture with your team in office. And if you don't have it there, get out of that office and join one. Like this game is getting too tough and it's too serious now to be a lone wolf out there, right? There's no lone survivors. Like, be part of something. Like Jimmy mentioned, like, he's part of our community, the society. We're society brothers, you know? That's a community that I started. Like, there's so much value in it. There's so much collaboration and camaraderie, right? Like, I'll do anything for anyone in my society. He called me, we just figured this out. I took an Uber here. I've got to go to an event right after this, right back in the city. I don't care.
We're making it run, right?
I'll do anything to help this guy, and he would do anything to help me. So be part of that, because it's infectious energy, and it will really fuel you, and we need it during tough times like this. And the last thing, which probably I could have listed first, was visibility.
Right.
If you are not visible, you are invisible. Remember that right now. I'm going to tell you again. If you are not visible, you are invisible, which means you don't have any matter of consequence or impact in the market. People have lots of choices. They got to see you. This man is seen because he provides immense value to the marketplace and the industry, because he runs an incredible show and a podcast. Not to mention, he's always out there showing content. You better start putting out content at scale. You better start speaking up, because if you don't do it, somebody else will. Someone's going to eat your lunch. The market's moving too fast. The stakes are too high. Visibility is the currency, right?
Visibility is the currency.
That's it. It is. Right about that. The internet is a gigantic shopping mall, and the only currency is visibility. Remember that, right?
Absolutely.
And you have control over it. At the end of the day, we can't control who works with us.
No,
100%. Right? Like, you can do so much work, and then they'll drop you at the end for their cousin who works at Citibank.
But if you have a lot of opportunities, you're not worried about the one person dropping you, right?
Visibility. The visibility leads to lots of conversations, lots of opportunities, plenty of business for you. But if you're not visible, then every deal feels like it's the one that you have to get closed. You put a lot of pressure on yourself, and you're going one-to-one instead of going one-to-many. One-to-many is only possible through visibility. So visibility, community, and evolve, those are the three things that I'm imploring every mortgage advisor to step into and take ownership of it, and really start treating this like a company, like a business. Like, carry yourself in that high regard. Don't operate down here on the basement. Get up to the penthouse and start acting the way that you're worthy of and that you deserve for your business.
And to your point, this is why I'm at a level where I'm at today, and I'm comfortable speaking about this, because of the society. We mastermind. We talk about different things. We hear perspective from realtors who've been doing business for years, decided, hey, I'm making money this way, but let's change it this way to make more money, to put value add, to talk about how the market is shifting, to talk about how advisors are handcuffing relationships so clients can get the better end of it at the end of the day. I've learned all of this, I promise you, through the society. When you guys see me, Jimmy Mortgage, no, this man right here has changed my life. And because of the confidence through the community that he brings on, special guests, I'm telling you guys, it's a no-brainer. You're going to know what's going on. As you see, my content is valuable. You can learn anything from me because of what I got going on with Arjun. When I was going through some downtimes in the market, I promise you, I was calling his brother, leaving him voice messages like, yo, Arjun, man, I don't know how I'm going to make it this month. He was like, brother, just keep pounding, man. Just keep pounding. Just keep pounding. And because of that, I'm at a level today and I can appreciate you, man.
Thanks,
Definitely.
brother. I appreciate you too, man. And vice versa.
Yeah.
I've had conversations with you about some personal stuff, regarding family.
Right.
And, whether you know it or not, man, it stayed in my head. So that's what we mean by community. Having each other's back, and you need it.
Yeah, immensely. So we got big events coming on. I know your brother got something going on Forward.
That's right.
Forward is happening in July, November. You want to speak about it a little bit?
July, right? July 11th and 12th. I mean, I think he's down to like his last 60 tickets now out of 1,000 plus. So you better
get the tickets.
You better go,
Right,
and
right.
you might know someone who's got access, to one right here. So, but that event, it's the best industry event there is for people that are wanting to market themselves and really, take their business to another level, evolve. So that's gonna be great. I always catch you at that. I'm looking forward to it. I will have something that I'll put on for the Bay Area in November that's a little bit more business facing, but something that we started this last year that I did in February, which was such a huge success, and just, it warmed my heart how it was so supported, was called the Better Human Project. Because I felt, and it's a big part of what the society is too, we all got to execute. We got to work, right?
Right.
We got to do this. You got to make your calls. You got to create your content. You got to get out there and keep pounding, right?
Right.
But we often forget about here and here. We overlook it. And if we're empty in those spots, then none of this means anything. So I wanted to create something and create an opportunity or a community where there's a focus on that. And so with that, which is a big tenet of the society, I wanted to do an event. So we did it in February. It was called the Better Human Project. It was incredible. We didn't talk about business or mortgages or nothing. We just talked about being better people. Because humanizing the whole experience, the struggle, the pain, that fact that you're not alone in it. And if you ultimately are full here and clear here, I'm gonna say that again. You got a full heart of love for your craft, love for your country, love for your brothers, love for what you do, love for the people you serve, and a clear mind, peace of mind, you will make more money than you know what to do with. You will have greater opportunities, right? This execution part will come a lot easier. It won't be short-lived, right? You'll be able to sustain. So that's something that was really special. But again, like he just highlighted it. Like that connection is what we have, is, in a friendship. And I value that. So I want to keep doing that, but that's what we have that's coming on. And look, guys, get to events. There's nothing like being in the room or making the effort.
Like-minded individuals.
Right. When you're like this, man, we could have done this virtually. Exactly. You could have had me on, but but nothing replaces this. No. And I know sometimes we don't have a choice, but listen, get in the room, guys. Get to the events. Even sometimes when it hasn't made financial sense for me, I've done it. Right. I'm like, I'll figure it out later, because I just got to be in that room, because you're one handshake, one elbow rub, one conversation, one idea away from everything changing. And that's where it happens.
Lastly, let's talk about realtors. What are some of the things that you can provide, or what you have been providing, to showcase you guys are still important? We need you.
Yeah.
It's because of you, we have what's called real estate.
There is nothing that you can do. There's no replacement for a sound real estate advisor. Same thing for them. Mortgage people need to evolve into being advisors.
Right.
Real estate. And when you meet a good real estate advisor, one who has bought and sold property themselves, they understand market trends. They are in touch with what is going on with supply chains, meaning actual housing supply stock. They have a grasp on financial markets and how mortgage rates are affected. That's a real advisor. That's not a real estate agent that just opens lock boxes and shows you a house. Like, that's a tour guide, right? I'm sorry. It is.
So calling him out.
Agents need to evolve into being advisors, because again, they also, are respected and seen in the marketplace, just like we need to. We all got to level up. So agents are incredibly important to this, because right now there's a lot of disruption. There's a lot of threat on the industry, right? You have Rocket that's come in and purchased Redfin.
Right. And
basically what they're saying is, you know what? We know that people are kind of disenfranchised with the old model. They would like to go start to finish with an entire including mortgage, including title and escrow, without ever leaving our platform. I mean, it's a major threat.
Crazy.
So they're trying to make the consumer experience better. So we all got to level up and make our experience better, not be so clunky with things, tighten up the game. But if you have an agent that is so strong, that's a real true advisor, nothing replaces their relationships, their connections, how well integrated into the market they are, the phone calls that they can make to try and figure out what's going on with that deal to really make it happen. No platform or technology can do that for you. So play up your strengths, as an agent, and I just feel they're very, very important. Like you could do your own real estate transaction if you had to. You've done enough mortgages, you've seen enough purchase contracts, you could do it if you had to represent yourself. You could get through it and probably be all right. I could probably do the same thing after 24 years in this industry.
But do you want to?
But would I?
No.
No. I would still hire a good advisor to sell my house, to find me my next house, to find me an investment property, because that's their lane, that's their expertise. So, everybody step up, evolve, but I think they are so critically important. If anything, more important now than ever.
Absolutely, because again, they have the key to the community. They can speak more to it. And again, many rely on that trust factor. And when you can provide that value, it's a no-brainer. One's going to keep using you when it comes to relationships and building a homeowner, right?
Yeah.
I love it, man. Arjun, look, it was a short time. I wanted to make sure we cram in everything that we can within this time frame. I appreciate you coming on. Let's talk about it, man. Arjun, if someone's looking for you, where they can get in contact with you?
At Arjun Mortgage, ARJUN Mortgage, all together on Instagram, and it's me that answers it. The phone's with me at all times.
Sometimes yes, no voicemail.
Yeah, I just keep sending and trying to reply to DMs there. So that's where you can connect with me. And I love to lift everyone in this industry. Like, I feel like we're all a team. So anything I can do to help anyone, anytime, just reach out to me.
You speaking of team, what do you do on the side when you're not doing mortgages? Because you're into fitness. Speak about that a little bit before.
Well, I used to compete for the U.S. team in Taekwondo.
Right.
And I was really privileged to be the co-head coach for Team USA for about 10 years. So I do a lot of work in that space. So I love martial arts. I love boxing. I love sport in general, man. I love watching sports. I mean, these NBA
this
playoffs
man
have
is
been crazy.
disciplined. He is disciplined. That's what that means.
Well, look, man, you're calling it you're calling it out too. Like I saw you working out early this morning. You do it every day.
Right.
We have to get it, and we all need structure and discipline and order in our lives. But I feel like sports, there's so many parallels between sports and fitness and commitment in that space.
Right.
To business, and the two just kind of go together. I can tell pretty much a lot about whether I want to work with someone by watching a lot of their habits, right?
Right.
Like, I'll work with you any day of the week, man. I see how early you're up. I see how you show up for your family. I see how you show up at the gym because you are committed to being the best version of you every day. And you bring that into the office. You bring that into the studio.
Right.
That's no accident.
No.
This all happens by design. Design, but your discipline and commitment to it. So those are the kinds of people I want to work with. So it's important to me as much as it is I know to you.
Wow, man. Thank you so much. Again, if you're looking for Let's Talk About It, look at your favorite streaming platform. I'm there. Let's talk about it. Jimmy Morgan. Arjun, thank you so much for coming on. Let's talk about it. I appreciate you, brother.
Let's go. Great show, man.
Thank you. Hey, listeners, are you looking to improve your home comfort and save on your energy bills? Let's talk about Seal Power. They've been awarded Energy Star Sustained Excellence Award, seen on Good Morning America, the New York Times, and World News. Seal Power is dedicated to keeping your home cozy while saving money. Check out their website for tips and incentives and more at CIELPOWER.com. Stay comfortable and save with Seal Power, where comfort meets efficiency. Follow them on Instagram for updates and more, and let's talk about it as well. Thank you.